What up, what up, what up, what up? Imagine it's just me right now, but oof, take my stinky socks off and drive around for 2 straight days. Gotta drive again tomorrow. Oy. Yeah, there we go. See if anyone shows up tonight. What am I reading spectacles? So what's up, everybody? Top of the morning to you. Got anyone? No one's on board. I've got 2 people on board. Yay, 2 people. Hey, look at that. 2 people. Top of the morning to you. Hey, First Sergeant, good morning. This is pure vodka right here. Pure Sam's. Hey, Len Rock. Len Rock. What's your deal, Len Rock? Where do I find you gathered this cold evening, Len Rock? Oof. Got Len Rock in the house. I'll go rent Len Rock. Yeah, looking good there, big guy. Yeah, I go Len Rock. Good man. I don't care what they say about him. Panama? Oh, you're in Panama? What the hell are you doing down there, brother? Damn. I'm on the road. I'm in Harrisonburg, Virginia, Andrew. Seeing my mom last night and my mom today at the Virginia Mennonite Retirement Community. She's was in rehab. Did you move down to Panama to retire? Len? Tim? Que paso? And what are you thinking so far there, Len Rock, about Panama? Panama. I hated that song. Oh. Are you married? Or you got a nice little Panamanian lady? Haskell, Oklahoma. Look at Thurman Ray. What's up, Thurman? Yeah, I was gonna say you sound familiar to me, Len Rock, about Panama. I just my memory's not as good as yours. EDV needs to moon soon, says Michael Hill. The waiting is the hardest part. Every day, something. You did some, yeah. I can't remember you, man. I just, I can't remember Len and Panama. I can't remember, but I can't remember about Panama. We were going to Spain back then. Were y'all from California? Hey, we're Ted. What's going on up there? Terrible Ted. Yeah, so Andrew, I'm on the road. I'll be going back mañana, 8 hours. Went to see an old friend from high school, from college, up in, yeah, right, you're in California, right on. All right, Len and your better half, that's right. That's right, Len, and I remember your better half. Yes, I forgot her name. Don't have to say it, but I just forgot. I remember you were married to a lady, pretty lady, in San Diego. Yep, I was just in San Diego. Why don't you decide to stay in San Diego, man? San Diego is nice. Cary, North Carolina in the house. I don't think I drove through Cary, North Carolina. Waiting for spring. Yeah. Now, dude, Ted, let me show you what's going to be like down here in Georgia, manana, or this week coming up here. All right. So it's going to be the waiting. Sunny and high 50s and low 60s. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. There's Michigan in the house. Yeah. Let's see where Maine, what's going to be like in Kennebunk. Sunny in low 30s. Yeah, I know, dude. It's is that where you're gonna retire to, Ted? Ted Westerfield, you can retire to Cary, North Carolina. I think isn't Cary in that research triangle thing? North Carolina, dude. But nothing beats Virginia, dude. I'm just telling you right now. I love Virginia. It's fantastic. Politics a little bit too to the left of me. I just at this stage I couldn't live in California, but just because California is just too left, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, Cary in the research triangle. Yeah, it's too busy for me, man. Denny Keaton, right on in the house. Naples, Florida. Paul C's in the house. I go, Paul. Hey, Paul. Going to visit my 96-year-old dad. Whoa, how's he doing, man? Is he crushing, or how's he doing? Interesting. What's Denny Keaton? What's interesting? What's interesting? So remember, if you're I got 13 people on the Josh Scanlon one, 26 people on Heritage Wealth Planning, and 2 on Facebook. So if you're not seeing the running comments, I don't even know if Facebook has the running comments. I don't know. I live in California. Just tune out the Libbies. Don't live. Yeah, 100%, dude. Where you live in California, Christopher? I completely agree. In fact, I love San Diego. People were friendly as hell to me. I just very much enjoyed it. But the sales tax in California is through the roof. And then, but they were trying to do something. I forgot what it was. I just can't. Ooh, you live in Eastern Shore, man. Oh, look at it. Ted's 96-year-old dad is crushing. He's physically fine, short-term memory going just a bit. That's all of us, man. My mom, it's funny, I was sitting there with my mom today. A couple times she thought we're back on Peaks Island. She said, "Hey Josh, can you can you can you take the boat into town and get me an Amato sub?" And because we live on an island, so to get a sub, you got to go in town. I said, "Well," she goes, "What she said? Can you find out what the schedule is to take the boat in town so you can get me some Amato subs?" I said, "Well, I think Motto's is closed right now, Mom." And she goes, "Oh man, that's too bad. I really am dying for an Italian." I said, "Man, Ted, you ever go to Motto's?" Ted, Andrew says we are. San Bruno by. Did you hear about the right on, Christopher? Yeah, I mean that's the thing. The politics stuff. I just like, was it Maryland, Massachusetts? They're trying to make it illegal to own a assault rifle, whatever that means. No one could define it. But that's the kind of stuff when I was back in my stomping grounds of Silver Spring, Maryland, it's just the self-righteous libs drive. And look, I would feel the same about self-righteous right-wing guys, dude. I get it. I'm like, dude, just be a human being. Don't be so snotty. Like, I'm so smart. I just drives me to the wall. Tejas, right on. Amatos, dude. Amatos freaking. Right, Ted. I have to put you in timeout. It's not Amatis, it's Amatos. It's a typo. No, Ted's drunk. No, can't say that to Ted. I already bust on Ted last time. Sorry, we got to find a new guy to bust on. Silver Spring won't wave hi to. I know, no one waved at me. The only was one black guy with his girlfriend. The only guy waved at me. He said, "Hey, over by my old house." I was like, "Dude, Chuck's in the house." Mom's memory it's slipping as well. Been trying to manage her finances. That's tough, dude. Spell check. I no, you get it, Ted. I'm not bashing you today, and hopefully the Wi-Fi is okay in here. I'm just on the hotel Wi-Fi, so if I'm whatever it is buffering, just let me know. Ted, you get a free ride. We're not going to bust on you for a whole, probably 6 months. Here's Gary Rockwell. Better for retired over 59 and a half to withdraw a lump sum. All right, so here's Gary. All right, so Gary is a good friend of the show. Gary married up, if you know what I'm saying. Hey, we got Kirk. Even Kirk lives in progressive Portland. He's still, hey, Jameson. Did I ever know you up there at USA? So Gary married up. So we better answer this question for him correctly, or else his wife is going to say, "I'm out of here." All right. So is it better for retired over 59 and a half person to withdraw a lump sum from 401k and pay taxes, or to get mortgage and spread withdrawals during payments to buy property? I don't have my. All right, so let's just, for simplicity, let's just say $300,000. What's the closing cost of $300,000? All right, so let me get my trusty calculator. So good question, Gary. So we're gonna go to we're gonna go say $300,000. What do we guys say? Like, would be around, any mortgage people out there? Like, what's around? Not your loss. Not your loss. Were you the guy who's married to like a nice Mexican American lady from USA? Because I love those Mexican American women, and I mentioned that when I was like freaking just so many gorgeous women at USA, and some guy from USA said, "Oh yeah, he married a Mexican American lady from USA too." I said, "Man, it's just they'll honk the horn." Are you in Silver Spring? I thought I saw you say someplace else where you're at. No way. No, there's two guys in front of me that are just poking along. I said, "Dude, get the hell out of the way, man." I could not. I was like, "What?" Like, the worst drivers everywhere. Couldn't believe it. This was an IT. Right on. I got a couple friends still there in IT. Anyway, so let's go back to Gary's thing. So let's say anyone know what a closing typical. It was Kirk, yeah, Mexican American wife. J-Lo blessed. You work in downtown Silver Spring? Right on, man. Did you see my video? It's just there today. Did you see? I just said Silver Spring. What the hell happened? Crazy. I was just literally just down about 5 hours ago driving through Silver Spring. I haven't been back. Dude, it's crazy how big that is. It's nuts. Can't believe it. That's the way it is in New Jersey. We used to live by a pretty big road in New Jersey in Hatfield, and like had a stoplight right there, and just honk, like dude, honk, like man. Oh, you come? All right, cool, right on, man. Or are you from Silver Spring? Where are you from, brother? All right, so let's go back. Anyone know like typical closing cost? Anybody? Anybody on a house? Let's see. Let's look it up because I want to answer my man Gary's question. Right. So let's see. Anyone know typical? Let's go typical. No, $2,000 on a 300. No, a $300,000 house. No way. Now we don't want. I mean, it's going to be closing costs. What I'm saying is on the mortgage side of it. So there's going to be stupid the normal closing cost. I'm just talking about the mortgage, like the fourth refinanced $4,000. Cost you $4,000 refinance. All right, that seems low to me. All right, seems like when I was going to refinance, it's gonna be like $20,000, and I was gonna, but I had included the title insurance. Now let's just say, for simplicity, say $10,000. All right, so we'll say $10,000 on $300,000. All right, so just for simplicity, $10,000 on $300,000. All right, so that's what's that? 0.5%, a 33%, or a 1/3%, Gary. So we're gonna pay 1/3 in closing costs, just 1/3 of 1%, if that makes sense. So it's going to cost you $10,000 for the privilege of doing the mortgage, if that makes sense. Now, on the other hand, if we're taking $300,000 out and we're just going to put it all, let's put it effective tax rate 22 and 12. Let's say the effective tax rate 34, 17%. So $300,000 times 0.17. So it's going to cost you 50. All right, 300. That seems high. Yeah, $51,000. Is that right? $300,000 seems high to me. Times, yeah, I guess that's right. 17%. It's going to cost you $51,000 in taxes. No, not taxes. All right. Your CFO, ex-CFO, banker wife. Right on, man. So we're just gonna go with this. All right, so Gary, so you're gonna pay $51,000 right out the gate, or $10,000 out the gate. Now that $51,000 right out the gate doesn't have any mortgage on it. All right, so now we're gonna say, for simplicity, you got $300,000. I don't have a financial calculator, so I'm not gonna run this. But let's just say, for simplicity, we're gonna have 7% interest rate. $300,000. Obviously, it's gonna be amortized, but 7%. It's going to cost you $21,000, basically $21,000, $20,000. So you'll recoup the interest on the mortgage over 3 years, but you were going to pay it off anyway. So the issue is, instead of paying that $51,000 at an effective tax rate of 17%, you take the mortgage, you bite that, you're going to have to pay the $10,000 in closing costs. I got to Sue Pritchard. Hey, Sue. Oh, she's showing me some love on Facebook. Thanks, Sue. That was awful kind of you. Love you too. So we got Gordon in the house. So instead of paying, I hope this makes sense. So instead of paying $10,000 in closing costs, you're going to pay $51,000 in taxes. All right. So now you're going to say, okay, instead of doing that, I'm going to take the $10,000. Instead of paying $51,000, I'm just going to pay 12% a year for the next 3 years. All right, so let's just look up what that is. So $300,000 times 12% a year. 12%. That's 3,600. Oh yeah. Right, that's 3. What's it freaking doing? $300,000. That doesn't make sense. 300. Let me just. I wish I had my calculator. Times 12%. That's still $36,000 a year. That's 36. Oh, but it wouldn't be $300,000. It'd be $100,000. Excuse me. One second. I need my freaking financial calculator, else it's 12,000. So you'd end up paying 12,000. That's $36,000 plus 10,000 of closing cost, $46,000. If you spread that 300,000 over 3 years, you end up paying 46,000, 12,000 a year in taxes on $100,000 increments, plus 10,000 in total closing costs, or 51,000 in taxes. Hey, Pam, I think closing costs will be less than 10,000. I don't 3,000, 300,000. I don't think so. Chucky B says, I think closing costs will be less than 10, maybe 300,000 to 3,000. I don't know, man. It seems high. Anyway, so from pure financial numbers, taking the mortgage would be less because you're going to get hit in that one fell swoop in taxes if you took the whole thing out. But it's by about $5,000. That's if my closing cost is that, Chuck and Andrew's wife is an ex-banker. She says less. Lived all over Maryland. We hired you for retirement planning a year ago. No way. Get it? No way. Yeah, I think there you go. So then it looks like Chuck and Andrew are correct. At least they think they are. We'll let them keep thinking that way. I would probably take the mortgage and just pay that guy off over increments over 3 to 4 years. I hate to have to do that, but those closing costs, those taxes in one fell swoop are just going to crush you. Let's see here. So we got a question from. But I think they're going to have to be title insurance either way, right, Andrew? I think I've never bought a house out of mortgage. Isn't there still going to be title? Well, I guess there won't be title insurance because you're not insuring the title against a lender. I guess you wouldn't have to get title insurance if there's no loan. Nah, I don't know, man. I think I'd take the mortgage and just spread it. It's just the thing that sucks about a mortgage, you still got to go to the bank. They still got to freaking, poke you, basically do a prostate exam. All right, so we got Fern Fins, 90-10 VOO, that's SP 500, and BND, 2 fund portfolio. Any suggestions? Lump sum or dollar cost average for the next 10 years? All right, well, that's an easy question to answer. Where do you think the market is going to be in 10 years? It's literally just that simple. So my man says, I'm going to buy basically I think it's Bogle or Warren Buffett. They're 90-10 of SP 500 and 10% in the total bond index. So my man Fern Fins is, let's say I got $100,000. Should I put it all in right now, or should I do it incrementally over 10 years? So $10,000 a year for the next 10 years. So it's an easy question. Where do you think the market is going to be? Just really that simple. Let's keep going. Personally, I would just do a lump sum. Just if you want my opinion, I'd do a lump sum and say, freaking, as long as you got cash, you got to have enough cash on the side to make sure you can, deal with any calamities that come. But assuming you got enough cash, I just put it in and just let the chips fall in May. I didn't post. I meant to post. I did a video. I was driving home talking about my mom and I were talking about Dominion Energy. It used to be Dominion Resources. And some of these energy companies look pretty good. Like Dominion Resources right now. I don't think I got it up there. It's let me see if I got it over here for a second. Yeah. So let's look at. I don't feel like looking up actually. Anyway, Dominion Resources. I'm not saying you should buy it. I'm not saying that at all. But it's got almost a 6%. Looks like my Wi-Fi is suffering here. Are you guys still hearing me? You'll want title insurance regardless, says my San Jose Shark fan. This in case title company screws up. You don't want to find out later. You don't have own it. Okay, gotcha. There you go. Right on, man. Good call. Anyway, so dude, if you're 49, come on, Fin Furs. Yeah, put it in there and be done with it. Absolutely. Here you find. All right, cool. Thanks, Ted. So hey, Dominion Resources Energy now got like a PE of 15 with a dividend yield of 5.82. And then I own 100 shares of Southern Company. It's got a dividend yield like 4 or something like that with a PE of like 18. And it's funny to talk to my mom too, because my mom, when I was when I was just a little bitty baby, my mom would take me to the protesting the Maine Yankee nuclear facility. It was down in Louisiana, just about a mile from Texarkana. It's down in Wisconsin, Maine. My mom would protest the Maine Yankees, a nuclear facility that they shut down because of the protesters. Anyway, and it's just funny because I think Southern Company is the only company that's got a nuclear facility coming online for like last 35 years. And my mom is very, very interesting because when we lived on Peaks Island, she knew a I think it was nuclear physicist named Craig Shinstead, and his wife was just some crazy scientist too. I think she was also a physicist of some sort. Brilliant, brilliant, so brilliant, crazy. That Craig Shinstead was so brilliant, he's crazy. He was on the Manhattan Project, all this stuff. He said, "You guys don't," and he's a big hippie, big crazy left wing guy. He's like, "You guys don't understand nuclear," and this way he's saying in the 70s. Nuclear energy is the cleanest and safest energy source there is. Protesting it just makes you dumb. Now, he didn't say that, but it does. Protesting it. Anyway, we're starting to see more and more recognition of nuclear power coming. It's cool. So nuclear power just changes everything. It really, really does. I mean, it's look, I don't want emission. I don't want pollution in the air. I don't want any of that crap. Well, we have the answer to it, just uranium through nuclear power. And yet the idiots on the left, oh, I can't have nuclear power. I mean, but they also hate hydro too. Point being is that it's inevitable. What they call small modular reactors, the small ones that will be placed. I'm not saying it's going to be 5 years or anything, but it is inevitable that nuclear is going to take a bigger position. And it was just funny. I was talking nuclear about my mom. I thought she was going to be offended when I told her about Southern Company bringing that nuclear power plant because, again, she protested Maine Yankee, and she said, "Yep, basically we're stupid. We didn't know." Hello, Stephen. Are we in a recession? Dude, I don't even know, man. Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. It's just not. It's not a big deal, the nuclear waste. It's going to be expensive, but the answer is if one believes carbon is bad, I don't, but I'm all for nukes. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if we're in a recession, man. No clue. All right. Our last property we found, there was a lien on it mistakenly. It's sorted out by having, okay, there you go. So Andrew and his wife is a banker. And if his wife says get title insurance, like my man Homer here, then we got to get title insurance. All right. So let's see what we got. Another question. There you go, Gary. Right on. We got Chief. Is this Eric? Is that Eric? She said. All right. So we got a question on, hold on a second. Did we already answer that one? We talked about that. My man Bennett says 250,000, 67 years old, not needing the money for a while, annuity. What kind of annuity we talking about, man? What kind of annuity? A deferred or a fixed? That's what matters the most. Deferred or fixed? Deferred, excuse me. Deferred or an income annuity, excuse me. Deferred or an income annuity. Okay, explain taxes with Social Security and Roth versus Social Security and ETF withdrawals. Wow. Well, if you have Social Security and Roth, you have no taxes. If you have Social Security and ETF withdrawals, you may have taxes. You might not. Depends what your cost basis is. So, I mean, it really just depends on how much you put into your ETF, how much the capital gains are, and how much dividend income and or interest income there are. So it's just there's so much going on in that question. It's going to be, I can't explain it. But again, Social Security with a Roth, there's no taxes, none whatsoever. Yeah, I don't know, man. It seems like, what was I reading or listening to yesterday that, what the hell was it? That Chat GPT or it's one artificial AI thing is like they can't, what the hell was the guy saying on the drive down here? I was listening to some podcast. And the guy said it can't do something that it's like getting worse at things, not better. I can't remember which one it was, but I was like, I don't know. I'm not worried at all about machines, and I'm not worried at all about, they're going to take it. Because even if I were to worry about it, what's my worrying going to do? It is what's going to happen. Whatever happens is going to happen. All you got to do is get right with God and, just live a happy life. That's all you can do, man. But we've been, the Luddites, we've been worrying about machines for years and years and years. Decades, centuries, and yet machines have made our lives better. I literally am sitting here in a hotel in Harrisonburg, Virginia, doing this live stream right now. There's 100 of you guys on board right now. This is just technology, machine. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about I was talking to a guy the other day, the old accounting. You had to go down to mainframes, the IBM mainframes to put a card in and have to, took an hour to get a spreadsheet for it and all that stuff, and just it's crazy. Steven says, watching CNBC the other day, the guy was saying that the NASDAQ was basically going to 6,000 within the next 2 to 3 years. Yeah, anyone could, everyone's going to say, everyone's got an opinion. What's NASDAQ at right now? $15,000? It was down in Louisiana. Yeah, 16,000. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to say that's a pretty significant run for 2 years. That's pretty significant. That's gone from whatever that was, 10,000 to 16,000 in the course of a year and a half. But you also got to look at where it was here. So I think it's easy to just see this and say, look at that run, but it's not been back where it was right there, and that's in 2021. So November 2021 is at 16,000, and then it fell all the way down to 10,000. I mean, so it had a big drop, dude. Now we're coming back up. So I don't know. Who knows? This is the thing that always kind of bothers me is that when you actually look at the last, say 12 years or so in the S&P 500, just for example, the markets have gone freaking crazy. But if you look at the 10 years previous, they were zero. This is the thing. So when you average them, in fact, let's just look at Portfolio Visualizer real quick. And this is the challenge that we have is like, all right, so we're going to look at Portfolio Visualizer. We're going to go to 2000. Let me share with you guys here. It was down in Louisiana. Remember, if I fall behind here, make sure you capitalize if you have a question you want me to look at, just because I'm falling behind, because I yap. I know I'm a yapper. I'm a yapper. Oh, by the way, I just got to point someone else out to you too. I'll do a video on this manana because it still pisses me off. It was down in Louisiana, just about a mile from Texarkana. All right, so we're going to show you here what a 65-year-old retiring today will spend on healthcare. All right, Fidelity's 2023 retiree healthcare cost estimates shows projected costs remain flat year over year, but Americans still constantly underestimate healthcare costs. Really? Is that true, Fidelity? So let's see what the average Fidelity was saying was going to be here. All right. Where was it down here? I'm missing it. It was down here someplace. Someplace. All right. Right here. For the sake of comparison, the 2023 Millman retiree healthcare costs released in May found a healthy 65-year-old male with a Medicare Advantage. Is that a Medicare Advantage? Plan D? Yeah. No, I don't get with it. I guess it's a Medicare Advantage plan. MAPD. Will spend $134,000 in healthcare in his remaining lifetime, equating to $90,000 of savings in today's dollars. Interesting. So $134,000 for a healthy 65-year-old. That's not debilitating. It's just not. I'm sorry. It's just not. So that's a healthy. Why would they say MAPD? Medicare Advantage Plan D. That because Part D is your prescription drugs. I don't know what MAPD is. I forgot what that was. But anyway, so that's not debilitating. So we'll just check this. I think there was something on here. Right here. If the retirement lasts 20 years, a retiree is looking at needing to budget $7,800 to spend per year, or $625, $656 a month on healthcare costs. That seems a little bit on the high end, but not too much on the high end. I'd say I use about $500 to $550, depending on what kind of supplemental policy or if you get a Medicare Advantage. That doesn't seem, I'm sorry, we'll just say for simplicity, $6,000 a year. $6,000 a year, man. It's $500 a month. Now your Social Security is $3,000 a month. That leaves you $2,500 just left over that. No, it doesn't seem that debilitating to me. But people flip out like, oh my goodness, healthcare. Hell, my mom doesn't have that much, and she's going to Virginia Mennonite Retirement Community. And she's going to sell her house to go in there. Shocking. I think she has $250,000 investments. She got her house that's probably worth $300,000. That's paid for, and she has Social Security, a couple of annuity incomes, and yet she's going to VMRC, which ain't cheap. How can she afford that? Because that's how it works. That's how everybody affords it. They sell their house, man. All right, so let's go to Portfolio Visualizer. I got to get a new song in my head. Put a candle in the window, because I feel I've got to move. All right, so we're going to look at just VOO for, actually VOO wasn't around back then, VXINX, there we go. Put 100% in S&P 500. And we're going to see As long as I can see the light. Yes, I was jammed to some CCR on the way here. All right, so we got, look at that. Compounded annual growth rate, less than 7% for the last basically 25 years. Y'all see that? That's S&P 500, 7%. Now, if we look at the last, from 2009, check this out. If you look at 2009, it's going to be like 14%, something like that. Yeah, 13, right there, about 14%. So people say, well, it can't last at 14%. I say, yeah, but is it, having done nothing in the previous 10 years, in the last, basically 15 years, has done nice. But if you average that over the last 25 years, it's less than average still for the 25-year time frame. It's just, I don't know what to make of that. It's easy to say, look at this growth. Oh my goodness, look at that. But isn't that getting some of the back from where it was before that didn't do anything for the decade previous? I think it is. Now, does that mean the next decade is going to be gangbusters? The next decade is going to be no. I think the next decade will be about 5 to 6%, 100%. But all these people like, rah, rah, rah. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't think you can say, the Nasdaq is what the guy said. The Nasdaq's going down to $6,000. What would be the basis of that? If we have massive amounts of high PE ratio, sure. You know what I'm saying? But if we got, I just, I don't know. Let's take a look at Facebook. As much as we all hate Facebook, there's still tons of people on there that's still making money back, hand over fist on advertisements. It's got a PE ratio of 31. That's not nosebleed. Let's look at Amazon, AMZN. I think Amazon's like 70. 58. It's getting nosebleed, not quite there. Let's look at Nvidia. And I don't know anything about Nvidia. Yeah, that's nosebleed. There's Nvidia. PE ratio 96. Look at that price. Look at, dude, that's, I'd be taking gains off that. Don't listen to me. If I own that stock and I don't, I'd be taking gains off that sucker. Look at. And there's the PE ratio right there. Oh, and it got 2 basis point dividend yield. Yeah. So if you're, remember, see that, I'm going to point some out. See that right there? That means someone paid that. And the reason someone paid that is because they thought Nvidia has value. That's going to grow more. It's going to Rumsfeld and Newt Gingrich used to say, the deficits don't matter. We can grow our way to reduce the deficits. That's what they used to say. And I tend to believe that, actually. I still do. So deficits don't matter. We can grow our way out of the deficits. It never happened, but that's what they used to say. So what a guy who just bought that Nvidia, I'm not saying sell it. You do what you got to do. He's thinking the earnings will grow their way out of that 96 PE. The earnings potential will grow their way out of that 96 PE. And that means it's got to double. I don't even, off the top of my head, I could absolutely be screwing this up. I'm just going to do it off the top of my head. That means if you had 100% earnings, growth in earnings, and the stock stayed the same, it still have a PE ratio of 43. Yeah, so that's nuts. All right, so let's look at Google. PE ratio 24. That's nothing. Again, so Google, look at that. Again, up, down, up. Now, I don't. So what's the other one what's the other? What's the big one just came out recently? Can't remember. Let's look at Tesla. Where's Harry Chu? Even Tesla's only got a PE ratio of 46. But look at Tesla, done nothing. I remember, look at that. Let's go back to 2 years. Just nothing. Isn't that crazy? My mom was looking at let's look at Toyota. Oops. Right there. Oh, whoa. There's Toyota. But look at that PE. 10. Got dividend yield on 2%. Let's see what Nancy P. Yeah, 1%. PE ratios mean nothing for growth stock, though. Yeah, but you still got to get earnings. Because this is why I hate Bitcoin. There's no product there. And so the only way you make money is the greater fool theory. Someone pays you a higher price than that right there. And why would someone this is well, that's Toyota, but Toyota's makes a product, and the earnings are so low or so high relative to the price as value there. You know what I'm saying? But if you're Nvidia and it's a 96% price earnings ratio, didn't we learn all this, brother, during the tech stock? People are like, oh, because this is exactly what they say. P ratios mean nothing because the growth will continue on, continue on, continue on. You're like, yeah, but at some point you got to make money. You have to have some kind of money, or else people are going to sell their stocks. Um, Palantir is like 200. I don't even know what Palantir is. Mazda. What's the ticker? Mazda. Mazda? Really? Five. Huh, that's interesting. About 3% yield, 5% 5 PE. Yeah. People get intoxicated with tech stocks. They'll pay out the. What I'm saying. I think the growth will just go. You can't grow your way out of high PE. Amazon has done it because now their PE is actually quite low for where it was. I mean, seeing Amazon, but still it's 58. Seeing Amazon with and look at that, it hasn't really done anything. I mean, this is going back to 2020. I mean, Amazon's been pretty flat. You know what I'm saying? So their PE ratio is still not quite nosebleeds, but I mean that's a pretty big tumble. It's come back since that tumble, but the PE ratio, look at that. Hasn't done anything for 5 years, dude. It's still underwater from where it was 3 years ago. Crazy. How safe are municipal bonds? Yeah, you need to take my course there, brother man. It's 50% off sale until the end of till the first week of March. Because I talk about the safety of municipal bonds. They're very safe. I mean, there's always going to be a Jefferson County, city of Detroit. There's a Ventura. I always think it's Ventura, California. It wasn't Ventura. Fresno was one, but there's another county out there or city that one could put. But there's so much municipal bonds out there. And remember, bond market dwarfs the stock market. I don't even know, like a factor 10 or 100 to 1. It's crazy. So I'm not at all worried about municipal bonds, not in the least. I got a pretty good ground here. Not enough money. Just moved to California. Barbara Lee wants to raise. Yeah, dude. Why stop at 50, Barbara Lee? Actually, I was talking to this lady, actually, because they're having a hard time getting us checked in yesterday. And this lady was down there. And one of the wash machines was kaput. So they could only wash one sheet at a time. And we had this big line. Anyway, long story short, we got to talking to the lady behind me and her husband. She goes, if they paid a living wage, they'd have more employees. And I was like, because her thing was that there wasn't enough people working. I said, hey, how do you know they're not paying a living wage? Because they have people doing the job. So you're saying the people who are doing the job aren't being paid a living wage? Wouldn't they have the knowledge to know if they're getting paid a living wage or not? B, if they paid a living wage, who determines what that is? And C, what do you think happens to the price of your room there, lady, if they pay a living wage? Because the reason she was in this hotel, as I was, is because the cheapest one around. All right. And so as such, I was like, yeah, so you just pay a living wage. It makes you feel good, whatever that number is. And then you can say, well, how come that's a living wage, but the people over there are, whatever, I don't know, freaking R.R. Donnelly aren't getting paid a living wage. So what does that do to the price of because remember, cost of labor is the number one cost of businessman, which going back to AI, artificial intelligence, and machines and robots is one of the reasons businesses want that, because they want to reduce their labor costs. You're doing a fixed index annuity. Okay, right on, Brent Bennett. So I actually, a guy posted something on LinkedIn the other day. It was pretty good. He was basically given an illustration of 10 years of his fixed index annuity, and it almost performed exactly as advertised. He averaged about 6 to 7% a year, increasing death benefit. And so he did okay. Now, that wasn't anything compared to stocks, I grant you, but he did okay. The drawback about fixed index annuity for the ones, I mean, I don't know if they change, but there's a long surrender term. All right, you're usually 10 to 15 years or so. And that makes sense. I mean, they want the money that they have access to without you having to liquidate it quickly. So I'd be careful with fixed index annuity for, relatively short-term money. It's just because they have these long surrender terms. But I'm not an anti-fixed index annuity at all. I just want to be very clear there. Anyway, this guy had a life insurance index, some kind of life insurance thing that had a death benefit. And the point is, if you're doing life insurance, you do the life insurance. The life insurance is what draws you to life insurance. So you got to be careful if you're doing it for life insurance or an annuity product. But yeah, I got no problem with that. None. Frankly, I wouldn't do it. Yeah, Costco. Yeah, actually, I haven't seen Costco stock for a while. I wouldn't do it, and the reason is because I don't want the fees associated with my fixed index annuity. Now, I will say the income benefits are pretty significant. So if you think you might need money from it to withdraw on a regular basis that you can't outlive, there's some positives there for sure. So Costco, man, still got the high PE though, 50. Yeah, I can't buy a stock with a PE of 50. Just can't. I always say defined living, exactly 100% defined living wage. 7 years not bad. I don't know your situation, Bennett, but I got no qualm with that, none whatsoever. But their annuities are evil. Yeah, there you go, Steve Zacosco. GE was a blue chip company. GE's come back strong. It's crazy, man. Yep, the EVs are over. It's fun to watch. I had one guy said EVs are fun, more fun to drive than ICEs. I said, well, that might be for you. That's a personal preference, but at the end of this is what drives me up the wall, man. The only people who can drive EVs are people who have a second car. We know this. I'm not driving up here from Atlanta in an electric vehicle. You're just not doing that. The only people who do that are people who can afford a second car. It's okay. It's okay to have an electric vehicle. The idea electric vehicles are going to consume the whole entirety of the U.S. market. It's just so freaking stupid on its face. It's embarrassing that people actually think EVs are this new technology. They're not a new technology. Thomas Edison had electric vehicles. And literally, you look in the old New York Times, Wall Street Journal, they talk about New York Times, electric vehicles we're going to dominate gas engines. That was 125 years ago. Well, we've been through this. Electric vehicles are not an increase in technology. They're a reduction in technology because they give you less ability to drive far. And you would still like a horse and buggy. Oh my God. I just literally, when I hear these arguments, I'm like, are we lost? Are we lost? And we're not, because these people just don't think. So horse and buggy. All right, just think about this. Compared to an ICE, the difference between a horse and a buggy and an ICE are the difference between night and day. The difference between an ICE and an electric vehicle, the ICE is superior to an electric vehicle. It's just a fact. So a horse and buggy is not superior to an ICE. ICE is superior. And you might argue that the electric vehicle is more fun to drive, that has less emissions. Where are you getting your electricity from? Certainly not solar. Well, I have a friend who has okay, maybe one guy is, but the size of his solar array is huge. We're talking gigantic solar array to be able to freaking electrify your electric vehicle. It's insanity. And yeah, so we're stepping back in terms of convenience, comfort, and just reliability in terms of be able to drive to Harrisonburg, Virginia to see your mom. It's just the whole thing stupid. We're not increasing, we're reverting. And horse and buggies to ICEs, the jump is, like the freaking Neil Armstrong supposedly landing on the moon. That's what it was. ICEs to electric vehicles is like Gus Grissom getting killed 18 months previous on the tarmac. Crazy. Right, I thought I had some other questions on here. Right. We talked about how safe are municipal bonds. Medicare, there's Patty Kushner. Medicare Advantage with drug coverage. Okay. So that's a part D. A part C. And I'd rather, that's fine. Actually, I got an article on here. Interesting. Look at Patty. Patty Crush. I call her Patty Krushner. I hope she's still on here. Patty Krushner. EVs, exactly. And there's nothing wrong with driving golf carts. I love golf carts. I don't own one or anything, but you want to live in the villages, you're going to love a golf cart. You're not going to drive that thing all the way to freaking, to go see the Hawks play. That's for sure. Exactly. My bicycle is fun to ride. That could be my main transportation. I did growth annuity for 10 years with downside protection, have my IRA to cover myself for market downturn. See, that's what I'm talking about. Nothing wrong with that, Fern Fence. Nothing wrong with that at all. I was just talking, who was I talking to today? My friend, I used to live with him when we were at college together, Adam up in Northern Virginia, he and his wife, and they were both in she was defense contracting during 2008. He was in real estate. I can't remember what he did, but off the top of my head, it's like, dude, people, 100%. It's so easy to forget the downside risk protection when the markets are going up. I'm telling you, it's a whole new game when the market's going down. I'm just telling you right now, it's crazy. Costco lost Munger, who replaced him on the board. Yeah, I get this question all the time. I got no qualm with covered call. Let's look at J. I haven't seen this in a long time. The drawback book, I just want to see what the price has done. We're going to look at JEPI. I get this question all the time. For some reason, there must be some guy out there talking about covered calls as an income way and downside risk protection. I haven't looked at it in a long time, so let's look at it. It's only been around 3 years. Oh boy. So what's happening here is, all right, so here's our compounded annual growth rate, 9.1%. All right. And that's if we don't reinvest the dividends. Hold on. So this is a covered call ETF. And so let me just explain real quick. What they're doing is you're buying. So I like covered calls. I mean, I don't do it anymore, but there's a, let's use Dominion for simplicity. You're not going to be able to write many covered calls. Yeah, so let's do a Tesla. We'll do Tesla. You want to do something that's volatile. All right, so what happens with Tesla? You see the price right there is, what does that say? Basically $200. So I'm going to sell you the right to buy my shares at 210 for simplicity. This is called out of the money. I'm out of the money. It's an out of money call. I'm going to sell you the right to buy my shares at 210 between now and 6 months from now. All right. So if Tesla at any time in the next 6 months goes above 210, you can buy my shares at 210. So let's just say for simplicity, in month 4, Tesla's now trading at 220. You have the right to buy my shares at 210. All right. So you say, hey, you're going to buy the call. You're going to call it from me when the price of Tesla goes above the strike price. The strike price is 210. The current price is 200. I'm selling to you the right to buy my shares at a certain price, in this case, 210 in the future. If Tesla goes to 290, you're buying my shares at 210. And then you can turn around and sell in the open market at 290 if you want. Or you can keep it, whatever, it doesn't matter. Now, for that right to buy my shares, there's a premium involved. We'll just say $500 for simplicity. So what's happening is you're going to pay me $500 for the right to buy my shares from me in the next 6 months. Now, if Tesla shares stay below 210, all right, then I keep your money. I keep your $500 and I keep my shares. If Tesla's shares go above 210, I keep your $500 and you take my shares from me at 210. You still got to pay me 210. All right. So this is what makes covered calls interesting. I have them at 200. You're going to call them for me at 210. I still have a 10% well, not 10%, 5% increase in my share price because you're still going to pay me 210. Plus, I got that $500 premium. That's how covered calls work. Again, so I have a shares of Tesla, $200. I don't think Tesla has much room to go. I'm using this for an example. So I'm going to say, Tesla, I don't think pays a dividend, maybe something small. I'm going to turn this into an income stream. So I'm going to start selling people the option to buy these shares at a price I don't think Tesla is going to hit anytime soon over the next 6 months, generally speaking. All right. And for that right, you're going to pay me $500. All right. So now 6 months go by, Tesla's at 209. The option expires. I keep my shares. They're at 209 and I keep that $500. You are just out $500. That's it. You didn't take any risk on the shares at all, but you are out the $500. Again, if Tesla went to 250, all right, you take my shares, you buy my shares at 210. I'm still profiting. I sold them at 210 when I only owned them at 200. So I got that $10 increase, plus I got $500 as a premium for your right to do that. And then you can turn around and sell the shares in the open market. From your profit would be 250 minus 210 plus a $500 premium you had to pay. So you would have made $40 per share, but you also have to pay me $500. So whatever that is. So you're basically making $40 a share if Tesla goes to 250, if that makes sense. So you made big profits. I still made profits too, and I still made the $500 premium. If Tesla goes to 190, you're out. You don't actually, the option expires worthless. I still keep your $500. Now, here's where it gets problematic. And this is what people have forgotten on writing covered calls because it's been such a bull market for the last 15 years. So now, let's say for simplicity, Tesla goes to 175. All right. So now I'm going to sell another covered call because I made all that money on the other covered call. I sold it at I sold the option at 210 and it didn't get exercised or executed, I should say. It was expired worthless. So I got to keep an extra $500. It's great. But now the price is down to 175. I'm like, I'm going to do that again. It worked so well last time. I'm going to do it again. So now I sell a call at 185. All right. So my price was 200. I keep your $500. The price of Tesla goes down to 175. So I'm going to do it again. Another $500 you're going to pay me. But now now I'm selling you the call, the strike price at 185. But now Tesla's trading at 190 and they get taken from me. So now you are paying me 185 for my shares of Tesla. But I was in there for $200. I had Tesla worth $200. So I am now lost. Even though I got your premium, you paid 185 for my shares. Plus I had two premiums of $500 each. And I was just throwing that number out there. But then you get my shares at 185 when I got them for $200. And that's the thing I think a lot of people forget. Okay, look at Chris. He says he works for Costco, way overvalued now. What's your inside scoop on that? I don't know if you can say an inside scoop on that, so maybe we should not. In a down market, writing covered calls is basically locking in losses. So let's go to this Jeppy thing. And you're going to see right here, Jeppy. Y'all, can you see this? No, you can't. Hold on, let me show it to you. And this is why people, I'm telling you, man, in the down market, covered call writing is the quickest way to lose money. So we can see right here, Jeppy is averaged 9.1% a year, cost compound annual growth rate. Let's just compare that to S&P 500 just for simplicity. Benchmark right there, blink. Just compare that. Not that I think it's a comparison that's valid, but I just want to show you what the S&P 500 has done. So here's the S&P 500. A little bit about the same returns. S&P 5 a little bit more, but not much. It was about 1 point higher. All right, so the worst year for Jeppy was only 3.53 right there. The worst draw now is 12.99. That looks very attractive. So the S&P 500 had a 100% increase in downside risk, a 600% increase in downside risk in any given worst year, and yet it only averaged 1% higher. So you can see just a little bit more. All right, interesting. It only goes back 3 years, so that's a problem. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take income off. We don't want to reinvest dividends right here. And let's see what this looks like. We only have 3 years experience here, so it's not nearly enough to go on. So here we got, if we're not reinvesting income, we're just pulling it here. Let's see. Yeah, this is the problem here. Even in an up market, and you can make an argument the last 3 years weren't really an up market, it's 2022, but we're going to run with it here. Even in an up market, the S&P 500, the compound annual growth rate is only 0.2% if you're taking the money off the table. And so what? See, this is for me personally. If you're running these income schemes, doesn't mean it's bad, and you go to down market, and all you're now is living off of income, and you're pulling that income out because it's a thing for income. These are supposed to generate income. Anything that's supposed to generate income, well, that's going to be a problem when the markets go down, because your income is going to be going down, and you're locking in losses in this regard too. So I'm not a fan, dude. And my reasoning for this is personal experience. I got killed writing covered calls against PetSmart in 1999 and 2000. I did exactly what I said. I was writing covered calls 6 months out of the money covered calls, 6 months long with their leaps. I can't remember. It was 6 months leaps. I was writing 6 months covered calls on PetSmart. I can't remember what LEAP stands for anymore. Long equity anticipation premium. I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, so what was happening is PetSmart was at 45, going down to 30, going down, and PetSmart kept going down. I kept writing calls. So, man, I'm just making free money hand over fist. PetSmart got down like 2.5. So I wasn't down 2.5, down that. I mean, I was getting killed, but from an income perspective, because make I don't even know. Can you? I can't remember, but I just remember from the income perspective, I wasn't down nearly what being naked on the thing was because I was making all this money off the income from the writing the cover calls. But now PetSmart's like a two, maybe it's five. I can't remember, but we'll just say from 2.5. So I wrote an out of the money call at 5 for 6 months out, and guess what happened? It got called because PetSmart bottomed out and then jumped up to 14 no time. So I got my premium, my stocks called at 5. So I rode that down from 45 to 5. Position was called for me. I got $5 and some premium money. I got smoked in that. That's the thing. Writing. When you're writing something, that's what's called writing cover calls, not writing or writing. In a down market it's just you'll get crushed, man. And people say, well, they'll find a good stock that won't. And this is where we're going back to active management. They'll know not to write calls against companies that are going down in value. Will they? I don't think so. So I'm not a fan. That's just all I got to say about that. Looks like a QYLD. If that's with a little bit longer experience here. Look, anytime there's income, this is what if the income is higher than the normal market, there's something that's reason for that. High yield bonds, they're junk bonds. Oh, high yield, this sounds good. Junk bonds. They're not they're less than investment grade credit quality. We're getting 10% dividend yield. Well, that means the price is way low. And there's a reason the price is way low. I don't know what the reason is, but if the 10% dividend yield and the average S&P 500 dividend yield is 1.5, that's problematic. There's something there. That means that doesn't mean it's not worth investing in. It just that means there's something happening. Like going back to Dominion Energy. Let me just show you and I haven't looked at the numbers or anything. Dominion right here. So here's Dominion, what used to be Dominion Resources. So here it is, falling from, I can't see what that says, 90. Yeah, falling from 90 to freaking 45. So it's fallen 50% in 2 years' time. Yeah, look at that. 50% in 2 years' time. What caused that? I don't know. But when you have a stock price that's fallen 50% and it hasn't reduced its dividend, and I don't know if it's reduced its dividend or not, that's why the yield is so high. You got a yield of 5.82. The issue is, and energy is kind of heavily regulated. I get that, but energy is not going anywhere. We're going to always have energy. But anyway, the point being is that's why the dividend yield's so high. I'm sure they haven't raised the dividend itself to increase the dividend yield that high. I can almost guarantee you the reason the dividend yield so high is because the price went falling. I don't know why the price fell so much. Don't know. But and that the PE is only 15. They might be taking crap load of debt. I don't know. I haven't looked at the numbers, but I don't know. But then you look at Southern Company, and Southern Company, let's go back right here for the last 5 years. It hasn't moved around a little bit, not much, up and down, right? But the PE is 18, and the dividend yield is like I think 4.25, something like that. So not much movement there. But if you go back to 10 years, again, these are blue chip energy companies. But then you go back here, and this is going back, you can see it's just a gradual upturn. Now, Southern Company compared to Apple, compared to S&P 500, it's probably got, but look at that. I like that. That's what you want to see. Slow but steady. No huge gains, no huge losses, just slow and steady. Let's look at Dominion again, Dominion Resources. And you same kind of thing here. So you see it, look at that fall. Like what caused that? That's nuts. They're very interesting. Let's see if any of you guys got comments on that. I've owned Southern Company for years, says Patrick. 100%. Hey, look at Marie's on a bicycle vacay. 25 minutes from the border. Man, are you on your phone down there, Marie? Be careful. Because the cartels are everywhere. Long-term equity anticipation security, says Tom. Freaking Notre Dame guys. Always got to pipe in and say, look how smart I am. I went to Notre Dame. I live in Michigan. I'm so smart. I go to Notre Dame hockey games because I can afford it. Unlike old Josh. Old Josh, all he does is the only hockey games I can afford. Remember those bubble hockey games we used to have back in the arcade games? Tom, you're old enough to remember those. And you hit goal and the crowd would cheer. Those things are awesome. Marie, it's 70s down there. Yeah, 70s. It was Chris. Chris, what's the party? What's the temperature up there in northern Maine? What, 20? Like, so Marie's got 70s and you guys got 20. Mm-hmm. Covered calls can be tricky. 100%, man. Finn Fern says, I like having different bucks to put money from in case Mark has bad year. 1%. Renee Jimenez, I wouldn't buy a Tesla car, would but buy their stock. Have I heard anything about March 11th? I have no clue what's. No, I haven't heard anything. Kurt Sanders from Facebook, retired on. Hey, after 43 years in transportation logistics field, this Sunday night I feel so good. No more Sunday night. Look at that, Kurt. Kurt freaking crushing out there. Right on. All right, Curtis. Look at my man Curtis. He said 43 years on transportation logistics. Sunday night, I feel so good. No more Sunday night depression. So my man Curtis just retired 2 weeks ago. Can you imagine 43 years every Sunday just saying, dude, I don't want to go in there tomorrow. What do I think about having a financial advisor, having a healthcare? Good question, John. That's a great question. I'm assuming you got a significant other. So what do I think about having a financial advisor after having a healthcare? I think it's important, actually. And you know, like more and more people are going fee only, which is good. When I say fee only, not necessarily AUM, flat fee. And I think that's a good thing because at the end of the day, we hate for you to have to pay fees for no real services rendered until something happens to you, if that makes sense. But I think it's good to have someone that your wife can call 100%, man. And without, because I give this example all the time. This couple I had in Alabama. And the guy just screwed up. RIP, but he screwed up. He didn't do what we talked about. And his wife, now thankfully, she's financially okay, but it could have been bad if she didn't have any. Anyway, and he just screwed it up. Now, he did it financial advisor or not. It didn't matter. He was doing what he was going to do, but it's like, damn. And anyway, the point being was, at least we had a conversation. Do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this. And he didn't listen to anything. And he did it anyway. But at least he knew. And so you could have a conversation with a guy or a lady and say, hey, look, man. So what you got to do, John, is you got to make sure you got 1.9. Let's not say how much we got. But you got to make sure you got your durable power of attorney, brother. Remember, durable power of attorney is a power of attorney that survives incapacity. I grant my wife, my agent or an attorney, in fact, to be able to manage my financial affairs without having to get a court order. Now, you can do that like my Schwab account. I just went on Schwab. I typed in, I think, a third-party authorization, I think is what I did. And I just named Charlotte as my third-party authorized party for my Schwab accounts. And they sent her an email and said, hey, some guy wants to make you the manager of his money in case he's incapacitated. Do you accept that? She clicked on, yep, and we're good to go. So I think I had to provide her social or something like that. So right now, because I'm in Harrisonburg, my wife's in Atlanta, Charlotte could be out there with a pool boy, freaking hanging 10 in Tampico, Mexico, and with my money, which she probably should be. But that's the drawback of a power of attorney that's active right now, is that we're allowing that person to do whatever the hell they want. So you don't want to do it if you're on your fourth wife, if that makes sense. But, talking to Keith and Glenda, my friends from Dayton, Virginia, just last night, 49 years married. So the likelihood of Keith or Glenda, running out on each other, they got great grandkids and all that, it's not, and they've been in the same household. I mean, it's just not going to happen. So durable power of attorney. We want to make sure we got a beneficiaries designations. We don't want an ex-wife as our beneficiary. All right. We don't want that. We want to make sure our beneficiary designations, I can't say this explicitly because I'm not an attorney. Generally speaking, leaving to a living trust is not advantageous in my opinion, but can't give you legal guidance. So I'll let you figure that out. We want to name a human being as a beneficiary, if that makes sense, and that'd be your spouse. Got to make sure you got that done. Got to make sure your wife is on the deed. Is your wife on the deed of the home? Got to make sure she's on the deed. Does she know about Social Security, the provisions of Social Security when it comes to survivor benefits and her own benefit? Because Social Security just sucks. In fact, let me show you this right here. I got all these things I got to do stories on because I haven't there's so much stuff that come down the pike the last week or so. Usually financial media sucks. I don't have a whole lot of stuff to talk about, but lately there's been a number of articles I want to talk about. Kotlikov. Social Security. Stop suing people for thousands that you mistakenly paid their deceased parents when they were children. I haven't read the article yet, but again, Social Security isn't your friend. They're not your enemy, but they're not your friend. So you got to go in there, trust but verify. So your wife's got to know, where's the money? How does she have access to it? So do you need a financial advisor for that? No, but it's certainly not a bad idea for your wife to know that she can call somebody for sure. Get the freaking powers of attorney done, dude. 100%. Get the living will done. Living will, just a right to die clause. When to pull the plug. I was just with the doctor today with my wife, my mom, and it kind of pissed me off actually. A nice guy, old Southern doctor. He's like, "So we got resuscitate here, huh?" And my mom's like, "Yeah." Now whatever. But he kind of acted like, why? You see what I'm saying? And I didn't like that, man. I didn't like hearing him kind of say that. Again, he was an older guy. He's like, "So we got resuscitate." And they're kind of almost like making it like, why? Because she's not healthy. She's 78 years old and she's in bad shape. Right, look at New Hampshire Jeff. New Hampshire Jeff. Look at that. Look at that guy. Look at that guy looking good. Can I be strapped my parents' debts when they die? Not if you didn't co-sign. If you didn't co-sign, nothing to do with you, brother, man. Andrew, yeah, because Andrew went through this himself right here, Curtis. He went through all this just recently, and he said he 100% PODs right. Absolutely, Andrew is in a not great in a health wise, had a health scare, but he's recovered nicely. We think they want to. Yeah, that wasn't what the doctor was saying though, KK. He was kind of implying, why would you want to be resuscitated when you're not long for this world anyway? She's physically just, her. It was weird. I don't want to say pissed me. I was surprised by that because I was like, anyway, she wasn't. I was surprised the way he implies, like, why, essentially. But it was weird. I do thanks, Josh. You're the best. That's not what the ladies say. And the only one who matters is my wife, and she doesn't say I'm the best. Here's KK. She dumped her advisor. I just assume it was a chick. I dumped my advisor just for COVID. I'm so glad to not be paying fees anymore. No, I mean a flat fee, like just like more and more guys are just saying, $5,000, $2,000, something like that, as opposed to a percentage of assets. Yeah, 43 years. Yeah, and here's another guy. Downside protection. Look, index annuities give you downside risk protection. It's just a fact. They absolutely do. For that downside risk protection, you're gonna have upside ceilings. This isn't rocket science, and people lose their freaking mind when it comes to stuff. But I hate the annuity guys, salespeople too, because the annuity guys like, your 401k sucks, Roth sucks. Look at this index annuity. That's with life insurance. It drives you flipping batty. I hate that crap. And I was like, this is what makes this big argument in the financial areas, like the index annuity salespeople just talking smack on products that are it's like a firearm. If I have an AR-15 in my hand, the AR-15 has no thoughts on it, what to do. It's not saying, something, I really want to shoot. It's not, it literally has no, it's an inanimate object. It can be used for great, and it can be used for bad. It's just like any inanimate object. You know what I'm saying? I could take this picture of me right there. Look at little Josh on Peaks Island, Maine. Look at me, so cute. And I can keep poking my eye until the eye falls out. The picture itself doesn't choose that. It's a human being behind it. So all these idiots like, oh, index or your 401k sucks, your Roth sucks. You look at this, we can do just so freaking stupid. But then the other guys in the registered investment advisor will say, how dare you? Your index annuities suck. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, index annuity. It gives you downside risk protection with upside ceilings. Nothing wrong with that. Just why do you just say that, man? There should be, and the way I talk about my course is a bond supplement. And the thing that drives you, the salesman on these things, market-like returns. No, not market-like return. I don't have it here. I was working on a video just comparing dividends and no dividends. And off the top of my head, I can't remember what it was. But there is not market-like returns if you're excluding dividends and you have caps. That's not market-like returns. It drives me insane. And yet they do this because insurance aren't regulated the same way, and we can argue that all day long. But it's just like, it's not market-like returns because you're implying stock market-like returns. If you want to apply bond market-like returns, I don't like you doing that either. That's silly, but okay. But it's not market-like returns. It's just not. Uh, I think I missed my stand-up comedian. Oh man, look at my man. Really? Which Michigan or Notre Dame? Marie, where are you? Just because you're on some bike ride, Maria's just going around the bike. She's probably got a cigarette hanging out her mouth. Like, I'm such a heavy hitter biker, smoking a cigarette, probably a cigar, a bottle of Jack in one hand, a cigar in the other. Just she's probably putting around Sedona, listening to Stevie Nicks. You know what I'm saying? Because Stevie Nicks loves Sedona, and trying to get that hippie vibe from the aura. And she's like, yeah. You didn't know that I'm visiting my mom in Harrisonburg, Marie? Jeez Louise, where you been? Oh, just really disappointed. Really, really disappointed. Oh, boy. 24 in Maine. Some reads at 70 in Arizona. 24 in Maine, says Chris. Ugh. Oh, boy. The correct right on. The correct answer is my new course. That's exactly right. Let's see. Right here. So here's a question from Denise. Annuitized pension. Oh, that's not really a question. All right, Denise. Let's hope you play into my. Let's see. Hold on a second. Yeah, right here. Oh, right here. Johnny Java. What are safer investments that still have some return? Treasuries, money market funds, ultra short, government bond. And you answered your own question. The correct answer is my new course. Look, dude, I right now, but this is an easy one. The money market. The money market is you're getting over 5 in a money market. Safe, liquid. Kurt's living the dream. Well, it depends. If Kurt depends on who his other half is, you know what I'm saying? I bet Kurt married up. Seems like all us guys married up. Like, here's Denise right here. All right. Here's Denise. Trust me. Denise's hubby married up. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Denise, I have a life, Josh. I'm busy. I'm with 40 other bicyclists. Oh, man. All from Pennsylvania, Marie? Oh, you guys are crushing out there. You should, but let me guess how you got there. You flew. See, if you're if you're truly hardcore, you should have taken your bike to freaking Nogolus. Nogolus? No, what the hell is it called? Nogolus? Yeah, Nogolus, right? Welcome back to Great State. I love Virginia, dude. You live in Winchester? Yeah, right on, man. That's just my friend lives in Loudoun County, and I was up there visiting him. I love it. Love it without question. It's great. It's where we're gonna retire. It's either Virginia, North Carolina, probably Virginia because my wife is from here. Nogales, that's what it is. Nogales, right on. No, that's right. That's your old buddy Josh. No gal less. No gal less. You know what I'm saying? Get it? Yeah, that doesn't really work that well. No way. You guys all from Harrisburg? You rented a U-Haul truck to? That's crazy. Nogales says, why you gotta make it sexual, Ted? Nogales? That's not cool. What's up with that? Dude, Notre Dame, my wife went and my daughter went to a Notre Dame hockey game. So Chris has season tickets to the University of Maine Black Bears. When Maddie was looking at Notre Dame, and we couldn't afford it. They were going to give her money too, but Maddie got like a 1580 on the SAT, and Notre Dame was going to give her like $10,000. It's like, who the hell can afford this stupid school? Anyway, they went to a hockey game there, and it's just freaking a blast, dude. They went to Notre Dame hockey game, and actually Maddie saw a guy from her class before her who was in a band. So Marie's in the Harrisburg Bicycle Club, Bicicleta. Yeah, but man, that would be Notre Dame hockey game. I tell you, the best hockey game I ever saw was St. Lawrence University when I was in the Army. We all went up there and we were out there tailgating, just getting drunk as skunks. It's like standing room only. It's like an Indiana high school basketball. It was freaking a blast. Then the next weekend we went to Clarkson and they had this all modern amenity arena. It just wasn't the same. It was like going to minor league. It was fun, but man, the St. Lawrence Saints. I don't know what they're called, but it was just, dude, it was so much fun. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, right here. Annuitized pension with 6.5% distribution rate rather than lump sum distribution, 14 years to break even. So my father-in-law at a Brethren home. Yeah, right on. So we had a Brethren home here, Bridgewater Retirement Communities of Brethren. Brethrens are big down here in the Shenandoah Valley. So Andrew's father-in-law was at a brethren home. He wanted to advise resuscitation for him, even though he had 2 strokes. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that might be where they're like, the guy wasn't not advising it. He just seemed surprised that she wanted resuscitation. All right. You on the next news. Right on. Did you meet Flap too? I think I just want to make sure. Yeah, I should be a stand-up comedian. No one laughed. My second Pam was she was very timid in high school because she has some ass clown as a teacher, Mister. I'm not gonna say his name, but let's just put it this way: I don't like him at all. He's a big fat bully. Anyway, I think he really intimidated her away from men. But she went to college and she started to get comfortable. And she's in New Zealand right now, Coco. And she does some stand up comedy at University of Georgia. She did one in Atlanta. Crazy, crazy. I think we got caught up in everything, man. All right. Did I have something else I want to show you? I can't. Man, I'm getting tired of this. I think I'm gonna. Oh, there's my man Chevron. Ooh, Chevron. I don't look at Chevron. I wanted to look at. Yep, 100%. Yeah, this guy lives in Maine. I forgot his name off the top of my first name, but Northern Capitan. There's another. It wasn't Chevron. Oh, let's look at. I haven't looked at ExxonMobil for a while because remember dude, I got crushed on that. I know. I mean, I made money on that, but so remember, I bought it down at 30 something down in here because it had like an 8% yield. I sold it, I doubled it right at here, and then just proceeded to just look at that. Now, if I would have kept it, even though the price has gone there, I was still getting the yield based on that price. If that makes sense. So even the yield right now is only 3 point, whatever that says, 66, something like that. I can't see 3.66. Not for me, because that's my yield to cost. That's all that matters. All that matters is how much is my yield on my cost. I bought that sucker at 34. I proceeded to sell it. Now, I doubled my money, but then I proceeded to give it all back when I bought UGI. So there's UGI. So I sold Exxon. I bought UGI like up here, and UGI is down here. And UGI doesn't have a PE ratio anymore. But I'm holding it. I'm holding it because it's got a the yield right now is 6%. That's not my yield. That's not my yield. My yield is 4 because again I bought it when it's up there. So I mean it is what it is. I'm just holding on to. I mean that's the thing. The thing about dividends, man. Even if the stock is down, just hold on to it. Just keep buying up more shares. It's either going to go bankrupt, it's going to stay flat, or it's going to go up. One of those 3 things. Not likely to go bankrupt. I didn't think it'd go bankrupt, but not likely. Most likely, especially if something has a product, it'll probably get bought out. But I know Bethlehem Steel, I get all that. But at the end of the day, energy is and I'm not telling you to go out and buy this stuff. I'm just saying, as long as it got a dividend, you can just collect the dividend, reinvest in shares, take the cash, do whatever you want with it. But the dividend it allows you to sit tight. Well, the market's just going like this or down. You're like, well, I'll just keep collecting the dividend. Keep collecting $1 a share, dividend per share. I got 100 shares, $100 every year, and whatever it is. I don't know. You see what I'm saying? Just keep collecting the dividend, keep collecting the dividend. And again, if you want to buy more shares, when that's what you should do when the market's way down, you buy more shares. Then when it comes up, the beauty of dollar cost averaging. Insurance e-bike. Did you see where a couple of the green states are calling for e-bikes to require licensing insurance? Oh, God. I think they just want, like, literally, they want to regulate everything. Pretty soon we have to get a license to go sit in the pot. You see what I'm saying? Brother-in-law just got an electric Benz, giving them away. Touted 360 miles before a charge, but only gets 250 miles of interstate driving. Dude, 250 miles without and then you're sitting there. I mean, can you imagine? You're sitting there like, am I even gonna get 250? Yeah, if you live in an apartment and drive in an urban area, you drive. Look, I no qualm with electric vehicles, none. But if you're going to drive it any long distance, that's going to be scary, and no one's going to do that. It's just no one because it's. But they're gonna. What are they gonna say? They're gonna. And they're gonna have all these chain charging stations. All right, guys. Anything else on your mind? No benches. All right. Subaru gang in the chat. All right. The dividends are taxed favorably. Yep, 100%. There's Kevin. Yeah, here's my F-150 go 475 miles on a tank. As if yeah, but it costs so much of that tank. Exactly. They want 100%. They want tax, and they know, by the way, electric vehicles they're a lot heavier. They're worse on the road. You see what I'm saying? And they know that there's that. Look, the one thing about the Democrats, they have the only thing they're committed to is money and control. They don't care about the green stuff. They could care less. They say if we can make money taxing electric vehicles, because right now they're not taxed or whatever it is, there's no gas tax. We're going to do it. All these people, it's weird how I'm like, you can't, these guys, look, I'm not going to say they're Satanists. They're not, but it'll only be a matter of time for the low lives to realize people at EV charging station. Oh, man. Man, Denise, that is a good point. Especially if you're there in the middle of the night by yourself. Dude, instead of going to a gas station robbing people, yeah, 100%. And then, these guys got, because they like to live high and, they're driving Teslas, so they're show offs. You see what I'm saying? Ooh, that's where, if you want to get look at Denise with a criminal mind. You should have been FBI, Denise. You would have freaking solved all these. You would have solved Oklahoma City before Oklahoma City happened, if you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying, Denise? Because, you know what I'm saying about Oklahoma City? You would have solved that. You would say, what's going on in Oklahoma City? What the hell happened in Nashville? Did some clowns start saying kill all the certain group of people? But I just heard something about Nashville, some stupid protests, and people are going crazy. I'm like, dude, I just think it's all fake. They have no money. They bought Teslas. The EV owners are very tough with street fighting backgrounds. Yeah, Kentucky crushes. I like Kentucky. Look at Kenny. Every time Kenny shows up, like, dude, look at Kenny. Not the brightest bulb, not the cutest guy, but look at his wife just crushing. Kenny's kicking ass. Look at Kenny. We all married up. I bet Andrew's wife. Here's Andrew. I bet if we put a picture of Andrew's wife next to Andrew, like, dude, what'd you see in that guy, Mrs. Andrew? You know what I'm saying? Michael Anthony says Tesla's a sell and bet hit 150 this year with no type of growth test like last year. EV station would be the best place for NRA to sign people up. Oh, man, good point. How's that any different from being a sitting duck going, man, I never thought about that. GTN has 17 insiders bought shares at 8-cent dividend, which has earnings on Friday this week. I don't know what GTN is. By the way, a couple people asked me what I thought about, Bezos selling Amazon shares. He sold like $4 billion. This is going to make all you guys mad at me. Did you notice what happened to Amazon stock when Bezos, whatever his name is, sold $4 billion of worth? All right. Let's just so Bezos sold $4 billion. So this is the most recent right here. $4 billion of sold. So that's 2 years. Let's go to 1 year. $4 billion. Could that be it right there? I don't know. Maybe. Let's go to year to date. So Bezos sold his $4 billion. Didn't seem to do too much damage to the stock price. Why do I say that? All right, I want to watch the subscribers plunge when I say this. Why do I say that? Van Halen bass is Mike. That's right. Isn't Michael Anthony a guy? Right. Is the stock price falling though, Denise? Not much. I mean, it went from 174 to 169. I don't know. That's so Bezos selling. I mean, you could say it arrested the increase, but I don't know about that. Because I mean, he's got some. Are you guys ready for me to tell you why this is important? All right, I'm going to lose all my subscribers because there should be a wealth tax. I'm sorry, should be a wealth tax, or at least get rid of charitable contributions for these guys. This is insane. Freaking Warren Buffett gave billions of, because remember Warren Buffett is going to die poor or something. All these guys are so fake, and they give to each other's foundations. So Warren Buffett says, I'm going to give to the Bill, what the hell's her name? Melinda Gates Foundation, all my money. Oh, guess what happens there? Not subject to any tax at all. And what do Bill and Melinda Gates do with that money? Whatever evil stuff they're doing. You know what I'm saying? And that's all tax free. So we're not going to have a wealth tax. And people say if you had a wealth tax, then you'd have a stock price decline. Okay, freaking Bezos just sold $4 billion. Probably did a thing. And people say, well, wealth tax doesn't do much. $4 billion, it might not do much, but that certainly can't hurt to go and fund a Social Security a little bit. Certainly it's better than the hole in the head. Taking my right up. Rick said he's taking his billions and going. Yeah, I know. I did see her new hot. She didn't look that good. I can't remember. I thought I saw it. Like that. I'm surprised by Bezos because Bezos. What's his first wife? I thought his first wife was attractive. One of these guys had the first wife, or maybe it was Zuckerberg. I think Zuckerberg is better than Asian girl. Anyway, Bezos has a billionaire yacht and trophy wife to maintain. Nothing nefarious in share selling. Yeah, but I don't think she was all that. Maybe I'm thinking about somebody else. I like Zuckerberg. I think Zuckerberg has been with his wife for a long time, right? As much as I can't stand him, I just like guys who stay loyal to their women when they get rich. It seems like Zuckerberg has been like that. I cannot stand Mackenzie Bale. Yeah, and Tom, you agree? Well, his new, I don't think she's all that in a bag of chips, but I don't like that, dude. Can you imagine your old buddy Josh like getting rich and just leaving Charlotte? I mean, how do you freaking go to bed at night? I mean, all the pain and agony. I'm not struck. Bezos' wife is well, I do like the Latinas. I'm not struck with Beep's girlfriend. Beep's. Zuckerberg's wife is a robot. What? Nah, I thought she seemed like a real chick, wasn't she? Yeah, that's what I thought too. I thought that chick just came right off the. Look at Penelope crushing. Penelope got mad at me the other day because I didn't give her a little heart thing on her comment because she asked a question and a couple of people answered it, so I gave them hearts. And Penelope's like, "What's wrong with me? You didn't give me a heart." I go, okay, here's a heart. I guess Penelope gets a trophy award. Here you go, Penelope. Here's a heart. Bezos, Ted, we're gonna have to friggin'. All right, we're gonna remember. I said we're gonna leave Ted alone for a couple months, but one more spell check error, Ted, and you're back in the S list. I want people to have to value their estate every year. Doing it, the death is pain. They can limit the charitable donation to escape this. Yeah, I mean, literally, it's negotiation. I want something from these people. Because these people, they're like, oh, we can't afford it. It's going to knock the stock price down. Yet Bezos got these huge. I'm not saying you can't have a huge yacht. I'm just saying at the end of the day, if you're leaving all this money to quote nonprofits who are doing their evil things, we should get some of that money instead and fund Social Security. How you do it, I don't care. And then, yeah, 100%. A wealth tax is not an efficient way to do it. But you don't have to deal with the same idiots that are going to, the National Association of Home Builders, the mortgage industry. So they're going to go nuts when it comes to getting rid of charitable deductions and mortgage interest deductions, which I'd get rid of them all. You know what I'm saying? So right now, wealth tax is a little bit easier to implement. You say, all right, just tell us what your wealth is. And you can even do a liquid wealth tax. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? But you say, I mean, look, these guys, trust me, they value their estates all the time anyway, Chuck. How do we know that? Because they keep the two sets of books, one for the IRS, one for their business. They know what they're. Do you think Jeff Bezos really doesn't know what his estate is worth? He hires people to do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's all that difficult, frankly. You could make a wild ass guess, but that's still better than nothing. That's all right, Bezos. You got these 3 islands in freaking Hawaii. You know what I'm saying? You got all these whatever the hell else you got, plus your Amazon shares. All right, you owe us 1/10 of 1% of all that, something like that. But now I got to sell my stock. You just did it. You've been doing it. I got no. That doesn't. I think the whole. Oh, but France, what they say, Europe did it or something like that. It didn't generate. That's what the tax foundation would say. And I like tax foundation. I absolutely disagree with them here. They said it didn't raise revenue or something like that. I said inherently it's going to raise revenue. It might not raise as much because people do what they can to shield it, but it's certainly going to raise revenue. Absolutely. And actually, my thing is just get rid of all charitable deductions for rich people. Just be done. Say, no, you got it in your estate subject to I don't have any qualms subject to estate tax, but they're not subject to estate tax because they're charitable deductions. They're setting up these irrevocable trusts that are perpetual. South Dakota irrevocable trust, Alaska. I used to buy into all this stuff, guys. I used to buy into it all. It used to be Delaware. Delaware's not the place anymore, but South Dakota, Alaska, Nevada. I think even Tennessee was trying to do this. I said this is just Republicans falling on their sword for rich people who just donate all their wealth to freaking NGOs who hate America and they hate capitalism. They hate small businesses, and they just want. Think about Europe. Europe is run by a bunch of corporate titans passed down generation. Very limited competition from entrepreneurs. And that's the way they want it, man. It's these fiefdoms, you know what I'm saying? Passed down, generational wealth, passed down. Very hard to compete, heavily regulated. That's why they're not having babies. Europe is dead. And America is not like that. America is still somewhat of a meritocracy. And look at Bezos himself. And I think Bezos was completely put in there by, CIA and stuff like that. I don't think Bezos just woke up one day and said, something, we're gonna. I don't think I talked about this in my course, but when I was researching my course, don't forget Enron was initially going to be the premier online provider of goods and services. It was trying to displace Amazon, and it looked like it was going to. This is Enron in 1998, 1999. I got it someplace in here, but it's like that. Literally, it was Enron that was going to do that, and then Enron fell because obviously Amazon was the chosen. They had picked out. It's just like Twitter. Twitter is not. What's that guy's name? That crazy guy, Jack Dorsey or something like that. Jack Murphy. He didn't just wake up one day and say, I create Twitter and all the government agencies. No, it's all CIA stuff. No, that's the loopholes are the biggest loopholes are charitable deductions. So get rid of charitable deductions. That's fine with me. I just say no. If you die in your estate, get rid of charitable deductions. If you want to make a gift to an irrevocable trust, that's already taxed. All right. So we know for a fact when you open up an irrevocable trust, so you got estate tax or gift tax, one of those two things. However, a charitable thing avoids both estate tax and gift tax. All right. So what happens now, you say, we're going to open up an irrevocable trust. We're going to make a gift of a certain property to that irrevocable trust. That is a gifted asset, which will be subject to gift tax. 100%. And that's I don't call with that. All right. A death. That is either part of an irrevocable trust, which has already been subject to gift tax, and now it doesn't have its own estate tax because you already paid the gift tax for that. Fine. Or subject to an estate tax because it was in your estate. Either way, we're not doing the tax loopholes by gifting money that's tax-free or setting up charitable contributions that's tax-free. Gifting money to charitable entities that's tax-free. Or setting up charitable contributions at death that's tax-free. We're going to say, no. You're going to give 100 when Warren Buffett's case, like freaking $50 billion to the Melinda Gates Foundation. That's going to be subject to a gift tax, or you can keep it in your estate. It'll be subject to an estate tax. Fine, nothing wrong with that. Let's do that. I'd rather do that than a wealth tax any day of the week. But at the end of the day, that needs to be done because this is where the Republicans screw up. These non-government entities, these nonprofits are not there to serve us. They are there to advance globalist agendas. And I don't understand how people don't get this, man. And people say, well, but Grandma Jones, she gives $300 a month to the church. She's not taking a tax deduction on that, guarantee, because she's not itemizing. It's just that simple, man. I mean, I just barely took a tax and itemization this year. You know what I'm saying? And I don't give enough because I got mortgage stupid. I got to get it, usury. That's why God hated usury, because when you have usury, you got to pay debt. You're not giving as much away. You're just not. You're being bad. Anyway, be that as it may. So I'm over the limit of my standard deduction, but not by much. I have property taxes. I give money to charity. You see what I'm saying? Real estate tax, all that. And that's me, your old buddy Josh. If it's Grandma Jones and Grandpa Jones, making $70,000 a year on Social Security and a little bit of IRA distributions, even if they're tithing $7,000 a year, say $5,000 a year property tax, the mortgage interest, they're not, even if they have mortgage interest of $5,000 a year, that's not itemization. They're deducted. They're standard deductions. There's no charitable contribution, nothing that they get itemized, which means it's not deductible. This is. If UPS is hurting, shouldn't also affect Amazon. I got a better looking chick than these billionaires. I'm broke loser. Yeah, me too, man. Nah, dude, you can't blame. I mean, Belinda. That guy's a freaking creep. What's his name? Bill. I want to touch any U.S. automaker stocks. Just the fact they have beholden audio. That's why Toyota is the way it's at, man. Because they're the only group that said we're standing up to the EV nonsense. Trucker boycott of New York City. I haven't heard it. That's pretty cool. Yeah, well, 100%. Let's just have a proposal on the table and say, how are we going to rein this stuff in? And okay, so the wealthy went expat. Okay. So there's no wealthy people in France. So that's exactly right. This is exactly what they do. They start a nonprofit, then pay ludicrous salaries. Exactly. It's insane, man. Dick Cheney and Enron. Get it. So Zuckerberg married Chan in 2012. She's a pediatrician. They have 3 daughters. Never saw it. Yeah, I 100%. Zuckerberg seemed like he's in love with his wife. Now that could change, but I don't know. Zuckerberg seems like he's in love with his wife. That's good. I don't follow Zuckerberg that much, but Bezos is a clown. Who's it? Belinda? Bill is just freaking a perv, allegedly. But Zuckerberg, he's got 3 kids, so Zuckerberg's crushing. I mean, he's better than the other 2. And I don't know what the hell's going on with Elon. What is freaking married or that? What, dude? Flat tax. Well, it's never going to happen, but absolutely. That's what Dick Armey used to say. How much did you make? If you made more than this, 25% goes to us. If you made less than this, 10% goes to us. Everything else you keep. 100%. I would get rid of NASA. But they get $60, $70 million a day in NASA. Get rid of NASA, and there's your Social Security fund. Yep, that's Jim Traficant. Yep, and then Dick Armey. Yeah, Amar and I are going to do a thing on Amar Shah on donor advised funds, Ted. Good point. Good observation. We're going to do something like that here. I think this week we're doing on the video we're going to do on this week. What did he text me on? It's going to be a good one on Wednesday. If I can find his stupid text. Text me. I can't find it. It's going to be something to do with surviving spouse. Right here. All right. Anyway, I can't remember what it's going to be, but something about surviving spouses. What did he say here? 1 second. Yeah, spouse passing. That's what it is. So it'll be a good one. All right. Moonbase Alpha here. Nope. We itemized but had significant healthcare expenses next year. Not likely, 100%. Who's going to keep the moon aliens quiet? Zuckerberg is more measured than others, it seems. Maybe cold at calculating, but Zuckerberg has been, yeah, I completely agree. I think Zuckerberg seems like he's crushing. All couples fall out of love. My parents are still married, but I don't believe this is, I don't know, you can say all couples. I mean, I guess you have to find what love is. I mean, at the end of the day, Charlotte and I don't, I mean, we've been married, it's our 25th year. We dated 5 years before that. So are we like lovey-dovey? I would like to be a little bit more frisky, if you know what I'm saying. Her priority is the kids. I mean, that's just maternal instincts. It's like the kids. old buddy Josh gets put to the side. And initially that really bothered me, you know what I'm saying? And then I kind of realized that it's just the nature of the beast, man. It's my wife, and she wants to make sure the kids are good to go, and everything else is secondary to the children. And I just had to, swallow my pride and say that's okay. And here's the thing: women want to be protected, they want to be provided for, so they can raise their kids. It's took me a long time to learn that, but I learned it. I said, as long as the kids are safe and provided for, your wife will give you the respect that you need. Now, that doesn't mean she's gonna be freaking jumping all over you and licking you like Pablo and Finney does, but that means she's gonna, she'll give you, she just respect you. And that's what any man wants, is respect from his wife. You know what I'm saying? And Charlotte gets mad at me on occasion. Sometimes I forget what she says, and she'll flip out over stupid stuff. And I say, Charlotte, it's not really that big of a deal that I made your son a sandwich instead of spaghetti. Not really a big deal, but she got mad about it. So I said, we got to tone it down a little bit. But that's all a woman wants. They want to make sure that their husband is there, their man is there to protect them, provide for them, and allow them to take care of the kids. Yeah, my parents were married 67 years. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Wife's priorities. I'm not sure, brother. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. But yeah, the divorce will crush you financially. My parents have been married for over 50 years. They don't really have any in common anymore. Well, they got you, KK. They got you, man. And I think people do grow. They change, man. Oh, there you go, Denise, right there. Denise, to answer your question. What about couples that have no kids? What would the wife's priorities be? 100%. Look at you. Look at you, Denise. Denise is freaking crushing tonight. Damn, Denise. Jeez. Taking some smart pills or something? The wife will get frisky when the kids leave the house. I don't know about that. We'll see. I'll report back to you in 3 years, John, if you know what I'm saying. The NASA budget is $25 billion. We gave way more than that to Ukraine and NATO. 100%. Our boys can't have PB&J because they're allergic to peanut butter. Natural gas must be oversold in the UNG. Should on that. All right, I'm getting tired, man. If one of y'all recommended, I can't remember if it was on here on Locals. My priority is still, it's still running my husband's life. Yeah, it's okay not to have children. It's okay. I'm not trying to bash me. I posted something on their Facebook page. They're like giving all these accolades to a Taylor Swift as a strong woman. I said, where are kids? You got no kids. You know what I'm saying? And she's what, 35 or something like that? I said, and people, the cat women flipped out. It was crazy. I said, I'm getting out of here, man. These people are going nuts. Like, I said, look, it's okay not to have children. It's okay. But can we stop this idea that a working woman is somehow more valuable than a stay-at-home mom? That pisses me off more than anything. Pisses me off. And Taylor Swift out there shaking her freaking, she's like naked in front of billions of people, got no kids, all over the world with some guy who's, probably 57 flavors, Travis Kelce. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but he seems kind of like an odd bird. And I'm just like, why are we glorifying this chick? I don't like it at all. And yet people do. She's out there. I get it. Look, we've done it throughout. I get it. In the 1920s, those chicks with the hats on and the hair, whatever they call them, they were the same kind of thing. But it's just like, at the end of the day, for me personally, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, she has accomplishments, but dude, take my wife any day of the week over the accomplishments, raising 4 kids. You know what I'm saying? Take my mom any day of the week over Taylor Swift's accomplishment. That's what I said. I say all these people yelling at me, these chicks, these cat women. I said, man, I'll take my mom any day of the week. They're like, yeah, that's so funny. Essentially just a white, 100%. It's just white Beyonce. Isn't it funny how Beyonce, all black power and all that, and yet she has yellow hair? I said, wait, why are you culturally misappropriating us? Kind of weird, man. Why are you culturally misappropriating? Because there's no black people with yellow hair. So what's that about, Beyonce? Huh. Kind of weird. Happy Lent. Yeah, I gave up alcohol for Lent. Actually, I did give up ice cream. I have kids with I'll have kids with Tay Tay for $500 million. Who knows Tay Tay? Oh, Taylor Swift. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having kids. Nothing wrong with it. Some people can't. Some people choose not to. I don't judge you, but we know women. Their priority is once they have kids, is the children. That's just a fact. Actually, literally, it's just that simple. And as a man who's before you have the kids, who is the center of your girlfriend's wife's attention, it's hard to realize that. You're like, I was her attention, and now I'm the last thing standing. Hell, Pablo and Finny get more attention than I do, and it just got to get used to that. And clear example that money doesn't buy happiness. All the money can't find a husband or have kids. Talk about Taylor. Oh, there's Jill just showing up now. Yeah, people are saying no notification. I don't know what that. We've heard this on YouTube years. Oh, for the love of God, dude. Now I got this vision. The San Jose Sharks with your San Jose Shark jersey, getting frisky with your wife, saying we can't have kids, but we can try. And the wife's like, "Oh, we're doing this again." I was trying to watch Friends. I gotta get out of here. I'm getting tired. Thing is weird. So many young couples are saying up front, no kids. Yeah, they'll change their mind, or they'll be not all of them, but they'll be a lot of them will be disappointed. All right, God bless. See you guys. Thanks again, and wish me safe travels back to Harrisonburg. Not Harrisonburg. Back from Harrisonburg to Atlanta tomorrow. We'll leave dark 30. All right. God bless. We'll see you guys.